So I can't believe it has been a year since I quit drinking alcohol. It has single-handedly been the best, most life-changing decision I've ever made within a single year. And if you're considering quitting alcohol, I definitely recommend it. So honestly, it was one of the best things I've ever done, and I've experienced so much growth and an insane amount of positive domino effect that would have never happened had I not stopped drinking. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on this journey over this last year. And if you are new here, I do have 3 other videos on this topic, which pretty much document everything I've noticed over the last year, both good and bad, mostly good. So for those of you who've been following me on this journey, thank you so much for coming along with me. And if you're new, I made a commitment to myself to stop drinking for a year to change my drinking behavior. I'm not an alcoholic, but I really needed a reset, and this was so much better than I ever imagined. So since I've already documented so many benefits and things that have changed since stopping drinking in my last 3 videos, I thought for this year video I would do something different, and that would be to share my most helpful tips, the things that got me through it the most. In case you stumbled upon this video because you're considering taking time away from drinking, and these things helped me dramatically throughout this process. So the first thing I did, which I ended up doing before I decided to quit, which was find inspiration as needed. I had consumed so much inspiration to get me motivated to quit, and that included YouTube videos like the 3 that I've already created. I can't even believe it's been 9 months. It went by really fast, especially in quarantine, but I've officially hit the most pivotal part of this experiment yet. I have never been so happy in my life. As well as podcasts. For instance, I listened to this podcast called Take a Break from Drinking, which is created by a woman who had a similar experience. She wasn't an alcoholic, but she really didn't like the way she drank, and I felt like I related to that a lot. I didn't commit to it for very long, but I did enjoy it for a while. And then also, as silly as it sounds, I really got inspiration from some celebrities, because there are 2 comedians that I absolutely love, one being Nikki Glaser, the other being John Mulaney. And when I discovered that they went sober, I felt so inspired. Like, if they can do it, I can do it, because, I mean, their job is in the entertainment industry. I feel like that would be especially hard. So yeah, as needed, I would just consume as much of that inspiration as possible. And really the most helpful thing was watching YouTube videos. And there is a reason why there are so many videos on this topic. It's people aren't doing it and making these things up. It is true. It is absolutely life-changing. So the next thing I want to say is replace it with something else. And when I first stopped, I would start drinking kombucha, which is a fermented drink, and I drink that every day, but it is a bit pricey. So I ended up switching over to Zevia, and I still completely do that every day. So I start my day pretty much having my coffee in the morning, and then later in the afternoon, I treat myself to that Zevia, and it's just nice. It gives you something to sip besides water, and it's like a little treat. So I feel like that really does help, especially that it's carbonated. It's kind of fun to drink. The next thing I would suggest is stay busy. At first, when I stopped drinking, I didn't have motivation to do much. So I would suggest, if you're in that same boat, just force yourself to do stuff. Maybe create a little to-do list every day with small tasks, like make your bed, take out the trash, or clean your pantry, because this will allow you to fill your brain with healthy dopamine hits, and then those small incremental tasks will add up every day, and soon your goals will get bigger and you will find more interesting ways to fill your time. So when I started, I was forcing myself to do things, and I didn't really feel that drive, but eventually all the drive that I had before came back, all my passions came back, and then I started dreaming bigger, and I started accomplishing bigger things, which I never would have done had I not stopped drinking. So this next tip is going to be a little bit controversial, but I'm telling you, it may be my most important tip, and that is choosing a year instead of forever. And that is because many reasons. One is there is a stigma that comes with quitting alcohol. So saying, if you have an insecurity about telling people around you, your friend group or your family, that you want to stop drinking and you don't want them to think you're an alcoholic, saying that you're committing to a year is a lot easier for people to digest than forever. And with that being said, it's actually a lot easier for you to digest because, as I've mentioned before, one of the best quotes ever is small steps lead to great accomplishments. And it's true. It is so much easier to see and achieve the goal of 1 year rather than having to commit to forever when forever is unpredictable. But after you commit to a year, then you can create a new goal, which could be another year or a different milestone. For instance, now that I'm done, I don't necessarily plan on drinking. Although I can, I don't feel comfortable, especially since the current state of the world, it just doesn't feel right. So technically my next goal is, once the pandemic is settled, then I might allow myself to drink again. Committing to a year is just, I think it's way more realistic to achieve than forever. Okay, so another tip I have would be find somebody else to join you. I was fortunate enough to have my boyfriend join me on this entire year, but my best friend chose to not be sober for this year, so it's totally doable if you don't have somebody. And if nobody wants to join you, I would suggest that you have to reassess your relationships with those people. You might have to, if you have relationships with people that are purely drinking and they don't want to support your decision to not drink, you might have to let them go. Because what is a relationship that's just revolved around alcohol anyway, if there's nothing more to it than that? But I did have a relationship like that with my best friend. Every time we hung out, we would pretty much always drink together. So much so to the point where when I decided to quit, we felt like we didn't really know how to connect again. So if you have this experience, I would suggest just trying something new. And what I did with my best friend was we ended up hiking together and we both really loved it. And hiking is something neither of us had ever done together before. And it is one of the best things we've ever done together. So it is possible for you to change your relationships, even if you get caught up in just drinking and that's all you can remember how to do with somebody. Just try to consider doing something else with them, because there's always going to be something else. And you might not know that you're interested in something until you try it, just like hiking was for us. Okay, so my last tip is another really important tip. And that is find out why you drink the way that you do. And this isn't something I was necessarily aware of until about month 3 or 4, because of course drinking is a distraction and it's a way to celebrate and socialize. But oftentimes I feel if you are drinking inappropriately, there's a deeper meaning behind it, and I discovered it. I realized I had developed these bad drinking habits back in high school as a coping mechanism, and I didn't even realize I had taken that into adulthood, because by the time you become an adult, binge drinking behavior becomes so normal, so you don't really see it as much. But taking away the alcohol, I was able to go back and deal with whatever I was dealing with, and I'm so thankful. I feel like doing that alone will forever change my relationship with alcohol, because it is incredibly hard to process anything when you're drinking, because it really does numb you in a way. And so you can't necessarily really feel happiness or sadness or stress or anything. It kind of puts a pause on everything. So when you take that away, it's going to be hard. You have to learn how to really deal with your emotions and process them appropriately, whether that be happiness, sadness, anger, anything. But I can tell you it is so worth it, and you will be so much happier, and you will feel like yourself more than you ever thought you could, and you will love yourself more than you ever thought you could. And I just feel so good. I have no interest in drinking, but I also don't want to hold myself back. So I'm not exactly sure. I can't make a forever commitment, as I said before, So I'm just gonna wing it, but I don't even have a desire. It's like, I don't miss it at all. So if you are considering taking a break from drinking, I highly suggest you do it, because it is life-changing, and no matter what, it will change your life. No matter what, you will see positive change, and you can totally do it. A year, it flew by. It seriously flew by. And I guess that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, or you can email me. And thank you so much for watching and following this journey, and I will see you very soon.